Hi there, welcome to this YouTube video and my YouTube channel. This is Tina from TinaHills.com, and this video is about an Aries ascendant, a Sagittarius moon, and a Scorpio sun. So you have your rising sign or your ascendant degrees in cardinal fire, ruled by Mars, masculine, and you're the archetype of the pioneer, the go-getter. And you have your moon in Sagittarius, which is again mutable fire and ruled by Jupiter. And this is the archetype of the philosopher, the eternal gypsy at heart, forever bitten by the bug of wanderlust. And you have your sun in Scorpio. Now, sun does not do well in Scorpio. It is very difficult placement for the sun. Sun wants to shine, but sun cannot shine in the fixed water feminine sign of Scorpio, which is Pluto's domain. Also, of course, ruled by Mars in traditional astrology. So for you, the sorry. So for you, the placement of Mars is very critical to understand your life's journey, because your Mars is your ascendant ruler as well as your solar ruler. So there's definitely a very combative side of you, a very ruthless side of you, bringing together the energies of Aries and Scorpio. But Scorpio is ultimately about transformation, tremendous transformation, which deals with death and rebirth. Death is nothing but ending of cycles. Now, Scorpio, as I said, is not a good place for the sun, and it's fixed water. And that's where you have your sun. So let us understand all the three different aspects first. So the ascendant is the degree of the zodiac rising on the eastern side of the horizon at the moment of your birth. Okay, and the sign on which it falls is your rising sign. And the rising sign is kind of like the armor you wear. It's the Jungian mask of the persona that you adopt to interface with the world. It's how the world perceives you. It's your physical body. It is how you look, your hand gestures. It is the sum total of your being in 3D. Now, when you walk into that room with your purposeful Aries stride and the edgy look in your eyes, people can see that you are a leader and you will not listen to anyone. You will not take no for an answer. You are ready to call a spade, no matter who it hurts. You're ready to put your point through. You're ready to dominate someone by staring them in the eyes. You're ready to chase the object of your desire shamelessly, because you like the chase. You can be quite the dominant, okay, quite the dominant, and there's a fierce, passionate side to all the fire signs that Aries has. And don't forget, Mars also is libido. It's not just war, strife, it is our libido. So having so much Mars in your chart could mean you're very charged and you're probably the dominant one, okay, in bed, and you like it that way. You like everyone to play by your rules, okay. Now, and I spoke about that edgy look in the eyes, right? Your face is very important to you because Aries rules the head and the face. So this is a very important part of your personality. So you probably decorate it and accentuate it. Most women, even women with Aries ascendant, they tend to keep short hair. They're just more masculine, more boxy build. A tremendous energy comes with this placement. So be careful that the energy doesn't burn you, because it could devour you. It is so powerful. The turbulent fires of Aries are definitely giving your soul a new directionality. But these fires, they can devour you if you're not balanced. I would say the key to everything is balance. Now, since you are the sign of spring and you're the infant of the zodiac, you have a certain selfish streak about you. But it can be understandable because Every infant is selfish because they understand self-preservation, without which, they will not survive. So the goal of Aries should be enlightened selfishness, as Stephen Forrest, the eminent astrologer, puts it so poetically. How can you make things about you, but ultimately they will benefit everybody? Don't forget, you're the pioneer, the visionary for a reason. You being an Aries rising, you are there to push through and trailblaze and take us to places we wouldn't otherwise go if you did not have that courage. You have tremendous amounts of courage. And very well defined features. Head again, very sharp, ruthless sometimes, look in the eyes, devoid of compassion. So always verbalize your emotional needs to yourself first. Now, with the difficult Mars, you can have problems like ENT issues and sensitivity to gum and teeth, persistent acne, migraine and acne, chronic headaches, and all of that. Now, Virgo is your sixth house of health. Now, Virgo is a warrior, okay, and rules the digestion and the nervous system. So what you put in your mouth, if you're stressed out, if you're upset, if you're angry, that will translate into poison for your system. So finding a balance is the key, and putting that physical energy, the visceral energy to work, to make that work for you, not work against you. Now, you have very, very fast metabolism, and you also move so quickly that during difficult aspects of Mars, you can get hurt if you're not careful. Again, when transiting Mars is giving you difficult aspects, especially for your Mars-Pluto aspects, be careful of guns, heavy machinery, freak fires, driving under the influence, road rage. Be very careful of all of that, especially during Mars-Pluto transits, and keep balance. Don't let anger get the better of you. You have a Scorpio Sun and Aries ascendant and a Sag Moon. Anger touching base with balance and your emotions, I think, will be a great help. Now, you have your moon in mutable fire, Sagittarius. So you are forever the optimist, and you have a 9th house moon, and you have an 8th house sun. So your moon and sun are theoretically semi-sextile, which can be iffy, but we won't get so detailed. But let's just stick to the moon first. 9th house moon, you're never happy with your surroundings. You always want change. You're the eternal gypsy. You always want to travel to faraway places, because you have so much restless energy. Again, like, accentuating that Aries rising. And you want change and variety, otherwise you get bored. Regime and routine bore you. Sagittarius rules the hips and the thighs and the pituitary gland. So your moon is literally in your hips and your thighs. So maybe during severe emotional issues, you can feel pain in the hips and the thighs. And the pituitary gland is like the mother of all glands. It helps with prolactin, that's breastfeeding. It helps with fertility, sexuality, all of that, okay? It even helps with the oxytocin, which is a bonding chemical, which is what makes us happy when combined with serotonin and dopamine. So Sagittarius moon, you can become very restless and callous and cold and detached if you're not balancing your moon, okay? And if you have any kind of hormonal imbalances, that's something to look at. But you're so optimistic, and you've got such a brash and adorable way about you that people tend to see that you mean no harm, even when you say things bluntly, because you're definitely very blunt, very, very blunt. Now, you are the most spiritual of all the fire signs. And that arrow of Sagittarius is about spiritual directionality. After that, in Capricorn, you will receive your initiation, okay? So You're a free spirit and very creative. If you can't use that creativity, and if you can't travel, you can get depressed. So travel to different places, to foreign places, interacting with foreign cultures, falling in love with someone who's not from your culture can be very enriching for you. It helps you in a psychosomatic and spiritual way when you become one with other cultures. Remember that the sole ruler of Sag is the earth. So you're very bonded to the earth. You're very outdoorsy. You can go read Baudelaire and you can read Marcel Proust, and you can go outdoors and hike, and you can be an adrenaline junkie with so much Mars in your natal chart. You could be an adrenaline junkie and love extreme sports. Okay, but be careful of water. You have an 8th house Scorpio, 8th house Sun, so be careful. Okay, Oprah Winfrey, she is a sad sun. So look at how she, assimilates and how she interacts with people of different cultures. Very, very open, very liberal. But since this has to do with Jupiter, this deals with all things that adhere to justice and truth. So the Sagittarius in their own way can become bigoted and overzealous when they start thinking their truth is the only truth that matters. That's when you have religious fanaticism. So, another thing very, very important about you is you are an eternal teacher and an eternal student. Sagittarius, the archetype of the philosopher, and you're forever teaching what you need to learn the most. It's very deep, but that's how Sagittarius moons you grow, Now Sun. And I didn't tell you the moon was all about. I don't think I discussed that. The moon is a very private part of us. It is our emotions. It's our mother, our childhood, our everyday habit patterns. Okay, our imagination. Now the sun is the opposite. It's our father. It's our daytime, our work time, our goals, our ambitions. Not in the Martian sense, but more in the soul purpose sense. The sun is about having a healthy understanding of I am. Okay, think if the sun was a gas giant, he'd eat us all. And if he was a white dwarf, then there'd be no heat for civilization to take place. So everything is about balance. Shine with your brightness. The sun also shows you how you are a leader, your leadership skills, and how you shine in the world. And Scorpio 8th house sun is a very problematic sun. Your father could be sick, your father may have passed, your father may be going through health issues. As I said, Mars-Pluto aspects very important for you to figure out where your Pluto lies, where your Mars lies, and what is happening, the conversations happening between them. And once you understand the placement of Mars and Saturn in your chart, you know mostly all about your ill health and your ill fortune actually. So having a Scorpio sun, you're the archetype of the investigator, the detective, and you have to get to the bottom of things. You have to get to the crux of it all. You don't like to be superficial. So maybe your Sag moon can sometimes be superficial. Not really. Sag people are pretty blunt. But your Scorpio sun will never allow that superficial. You want connection. And you're probably very sexual because you have a Scorpio sun and you have Mars as your ascendant ruler. If you have a first house Mars, say conjunct Lilith, or something crazy like that, you can have a tremendous libido. So everything is finally about balance. Interestingly, Scorpio and Sag are two signs considered to be signs of death by esoteric astrology. So you have to die in these signs to be reborn again. But the scorpion is not just a scorpion. The scorpion becomes an eagle. And then the scorpion inevitably becomes a phoenix. Subscribe, like, comment, and let me know what you think. Thank you.